Hello dear viewers, my name is Dr. John Mohammad Pandit, Assistant Professor at the Department of English, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Hyderabad. Today in this video lecture, I would like to deliberate on the most important topic, that's report writing. Here we are not going to take individual reports or the different kinds of reports. Here this lecture, it will be about what's report writing, what are the essentials of report writing, and which points we should keep while writing a report. Here we will talk about report writing in general sense. Therefore, let us start with this definition of report writing. A report is a statement of the result of an investigation or of any matter on which definite information is required. Now, the report, actually it's a statement. To make it more clear, it's a statement of the result of investigation. That means first of all, we go through the investigation or we look into the matter and then we prepare a statement. And that statement is actually, it's the result of that investigation. Or simply we can say that the report, it's a statement on any matter on which definite information is required. Now, a report, it's all about exact information. It's all about definite information. That's why we often say that reports, they are factual, they carry data, figures or numbers. That's why we say, or of any matter on which definite information is required. Definite means the exact. Here we don't have any freedom to take digressions. Now, it's this definition, it's propounded by Oxford English Dictionary. Then we have another one, where I will try to make it more explicit. And this definition, it's given by Richard Cavallin, and he defines a report as an objective, oral or written presentation. And the first word that you need to understand is that the report, it's an objective. It's an objective presentation. That means it's not subjective. That means a report should not be biased. Or in other words, we can say that in a report, we can't express our own views. We can't express our own thoughts. In fact, a report should be unbiased. It should carry the facts, figures. It should be objective. At the same time, it can be in the form of oral or written forms. Both oral and written. And the next point is structure to communicate information. And we construct this report in order to communicate information. Therefore, we can say a report, it can be oral, it can be a written presentation, but a presentation that's objective and its main purpose is to communicate information. Information that's factual. Information that's not subjective or investigative problem. Are we just write reports or prepare reports where we just investigate a problem or record ideas and facts? This report, it can be a document, it can be an oral or written presentation where we just record ideas and facts or interpret and or provide solution to a problem. Now, if you look at the definition here, we have two parts in this definition. Then the first part, it deals about the very report. What's report? And the second part of the definition, it deals with this objective or the scope of a report. And if you look at the very definition of report, we can say that a report actually it's a piece of oral or written presentation that's objective and its main purpose is to communicate information. And the second one, it's a scope, communicate information, number one. Second, investigate a problem. And the third one, record ideas and facts. And or it can be about interpretation or or provide solution to a problem. But the important point here you need to remember is that this report, it's an objective piece, unbiased, it's not subjective. Here we can't take freedom to express one's thoughts, one's ideas. That's why we often say don't use first person pronouns in a report. And that too mainly in newspaper reports. That's why while reporting, we often say it's believed or according to sources. We never say I believe. We never use first person pronouns. Why we avoid first person pronouns? We avoid first person pronouns in order to make it objective, in order to make it unbiased. And the next one, there's one more definition. It's given by Peter Little. And Peter Little, he sees a report as a document which provides an account of something witnessed or examined or of an investigation together with conclusion arrived at a result of investigation. Now the first part of the definition, again it talks about that a report is a kind of document which provides an account of something witnessed or examined. Therefore, the report, it's something which a reporter has witnessed or examined. That's why we often we are supposed to write the correct information. We should not intrude our personality in a report. It should appear unbiased. Or it's an account, it is a story that, or it's an account or the story that you have witnessed. For example, if you have witnessed a road accident, there you have to remain unbiased. You have to remain objective. And the next part is investigation together with conclusion arrived at a result of investigation. And the report, it's not something which is arbitrary, it's not something which is random, or it's not a kind of random writing. In fact, we go through the investigation and the report actually is the result of that investigation. Therefore, we can say that a report is an organized, factual, objective presentation of information following a systematic pattern. Now, the first one is it's something that's organized, well structured, have a plot. That means it has a proper beginning, it's a proper middle, and a proper ending. And the second point is it's factual. It's based on facts. That's why we often make use of figures, charts in our report to make it more factual, more objective. And what's the next one? Objective presentation of information. And the ultimate of a report is to provide information. And following a systematic pattern here, we follow a systematic pattern of the formats. For example, if you look at the magazine report, it has a different format from newspaper reports. Therefore, we have a format here. For example, in magazine report, for example, we are supposed to write our signatures at the end of a report. But that's not the case with newspaper reports. In newspaper reports, what we say, we start with the caption or heading and then subheading, and then we put the name of the reporter and the newspaper to which he or she belongs. And then we put the place of in a byline, we put the place of reporting and the date. That's why we have a different format for reporting. But here, we're not talking about a particular report here. My concern is to give the general idea of report writing, what are the essentials of report writing, which things we have to keep in mind while writing a report. Now, the next one, you need to follow these points, or you need to keep these points in mind while writing a report. For example, a report presents information, not an argument. A report it only gives us an information, not an argument, because we are not writing an article. That's why a report is different from an article. In article, yes, of course, we put forth our argument, we contest things, or sometimes we support things. But here, the information, here the reports, they're all about information. They give us information. Here we don't argue. Here we don't contest. In fact, we put things as they are. We put things as they are, not as they ought to be. For example, if you are reporting a road accident, you have to put the things as you, for example, saw or as you witnessed, not as it ought to be. That's why in a report it's all about information, or in a report we present information, not an argument. And the next one is meant to be read quickly by the reader. And that's another important point. Reports must be short, to the point, brief, which a reader finds easy to go through or easy to read. Here in reports, we don't put unnecessary information. We don't have freedom to take digressions. We stick to our topic. We confine ourselves to the topic. That's why in report we can't take digressions. We can't deviate from our topic. In fact, we have to put more and more information in few words. It's often said that brevity is the soul of it, and that statement fits to report writing. It must be short, brief, to the point, but at the same time, it must be comprehensive. Now, the next point is uses numbered headings and subheadings. In report writing, what we do, we put number headings and subheadings. To make it more explicit, it means that in report writing, we just classify information. We classify information in order to uh, make it simple, in order to make it lucid for a reader. That's why we put things, we put numbered headings or subheadings. We just classify the information, separate the information to make it comprehensible for the reader, or a reader can go easily through the whole content. And the next point is use short, concise paragraphs and dot points where applicable. As I told you here, we put the short paragraphs. And as you know that each paragraph conveys a single idea. Therefore, we should convey an idea in few words. And next one is uses graphs wherever possible, tables and graphs. Yes, in report writing, we often make use of graphs, or we use graphs, sometimes tables we use to make it more authentic, to make it more genuine, to make it more objective, to make it more factual, something that can be easily believed by the reader. That means we put the data, we put the figures, numbers in order to authenticate our report. And the next one is may need an abstract, also called an executive summary. In long reports, we give an abstract or we write an executive summary. Why? So that the reader will get the whole idea of the report, or the reader will come to know what will follow next. That's why we just give an abstract, or we just give an executive summary, so that the reader will get an idea of the whole report, or so that the reader will know what will follow next. Next one is does not always need reference and bibliography. Yes, of course, it's not necessary that a report must end with reference or bibliography. And one more thing, the last thing, reports often end report. In fact, reports often end with either recommendations or with action taken by the authority. You'll see often the report. For example, if you are writing a report on a road accident, then that report must follow, or that report must end with action taken by the authority. Or remember, reports, they either end with some kind of recommendations or suggestions, or it can end with action taken by the authority. Now, next one. Now, the next thing is what to include in a report. The information that can be added to a report include number one, for example, brief details of an event. In a report, we just give the brief details of an event. And the next one thing is the consequences and effects of the event. We then give the consequences or the results or the effects of the event. And the next one is the evaluation of statistical data and analytics. What we do the evaluation. In a report, we do the evaluation so as to make it more believable, so as to make it more authentic, more objective, more unbiased. And the next one is interpretation from information. What we do, we just see the interpretation of the information. And the last point is how the information is relevant to other events. We see here how this information as given in a report is relevant or related to other events. Now the essential elements of a report. These are the essential elements of the report. And the first one is the correct information. In a report, information should be factual, based on facts and figures. Here, or in other words, before writing a report, uh, we should go through a research work, that too very intensive research work, so that we can frame a conclusion, so that we can reach to a conclusion, a logical conclusion based on facts and figures. And one more thing, any wrong information can have an adverse effect on the audience. We should not put wrong information in any report. Therefore, these reports, they are about correct information. We always put correct information or the information based on facts and figures in a report. The next one is the topic clarity. The topic must be clear. The report topic should not be unclear. Before going deep into the topic, an introduction is must occur. Now, the way it's very important. Our title, our topic uh, should be very clear, lucid, straightforward. There should be no ambiguity or something that's ambiguous. It should be clear so that a reader can follow each and every point or each and every idea of a report. Now, the next one is the writer flow. The report should be divided into some essential parts such as introduction, body, conclusion, and summary. This is the basic structure for every report. That means our reports start with an introduction where we give the holistic idea or the main idea of a report, and then we put a body. Body actually is it's the expansion of introduction. It's this body, the main body. It's expansion or it's expansion of introduction, and then body is followed by conclusion, and then we put a summary. And the next point that's very important in a report, that's excellent presentation. A good title, subheadings, bullet points, dates, reference links can be included in a report to make it more impressive, well structured, and formal. Now, this is the very important point. That means the very format or the plot of a report. It should start with the title, or for that matter, if you are writing a newspaper report, then we call it a caption or heading. And heading and caption, they must be straightforward, to the point, clear, short, apt, and appropriate. They should give the idea of whole report. Therefore, this after title, after heading, we write subheadings, and then we put the bullet points so as to highlight the main points. Tables in order to make it more authentic, in order to make it more factual. References links. Uh, we can include all these things in a report in order to make it impressive, in order to make it well knit, in order to make it more objective or well structured, or for that matter, very formal. Now, the next one is the completion. That means information given in the report should be unbiased and complete. The completion is very important. Report should appear as a whole, not as a part. It should not give the impression that something is lagging in a report. In other words, it should be complete in itself. That's why we say the completion is very important. That means it should appear as a whole, not as a part. And here are some points to keep in mind during report writing. And the first one is no personal opinion is allowed in report. As I told you that we can't express our own views, own ideas, our own biases in a report. Reports must be objective, unbiased. That's why we don't give our personal information in a report. Report must be topic oriented. We should relate each and everything to the topic. Whatever we want to write in a report, we need to relate all these things to the topic. That means here we don't have any freedom to take digressions. We can't deviate from the topic. Now the next one is the structure should be neat and clean. The structure should be neat and clean. That means everything should be explicit, simple, lucid, clear, without any ambiguity. The next one is the table, bullet points, graphs can be included as a proof of the information. We can add tables, we can add graphs, we can add facts and figures in a report in order to make it more authentic, in order to make it more factual. And the next one is adding the summary to highlight the main points is a very common. And yes, it's very common to add summary so as to there you can highlight the main points. And from the summary, the reader can get the idea of whole thing or whole report. A report may include appendix and often it has pre-designed layout. And this is the next thing. As I told you that every report has a pre-designed layout. So we have a layout for each report. For example, magazine report, we start with the title and then we give the basic information of the report, and then we explain that basic information. At the end, we put the our designation and then signature. On the other hand, if you look at the newspaper report, that's something different. Its format is different, its layout is different. Therefore, these layouts or these formats varies from report to report. Newspaper report, for example, we start with the caption, our heading, then subheading, and then we put name of the reporter, the newspaper to which he or she belongs, and then we put place of reporting, date, etc. And that's why I told you we have different layouts, we have different formats for every report. And features of very different report are good report has a clarity of thought. That's very important. You should be very clear in your thought. Whatever you want to express, whatever you want to write, the first and the basic thing is that your thought should be clear about that, so that the reader will find it easy to read or easy to understand. The next one is a good report is complete and self-explanatory. Now, the good report is a complete. It's like a whole, not as a part. The good report always gives us an impression of completeness, and it seems while reading a report, it seems that the report is a report actually itself is revealing things step by step. And the next one is good report is comprehensive but compact. That's why I told you that while writing a report, you have to put maximum information in minimum words. That's why we say a report, it should be comprehensive, it should include every information of an event or a situation, but that too without using too much words. And the next one is a good report has a proper date and signature. Every report carries a date and a signature. A good report is present in a lucid style, and the style, and this is very important to understand. We never use verbose or difficult words or ambiguous words in a report. We use simple language, lucid language that can be understood by everyone. Even a layman could read that language. Now we have the types of reports. We have different types of reports, and we classify these reports on the basis of the subject matter. Now, the first one is the eyewitness report. This eyewitness report gives an account of event or experience. Such an event or experience may range from like a case of accident, theft, labor, unrest, robbery, and so on. And this type of a report is normally presented in a narrative form and follow a chronological order. Now, when we see the eyewitness reports, there are different examples of eyewitness report. For example, accident, theft, labor unrest, robbery. These are all examples of eyewitness report. Here, the reporter becomes an eyewitness, and here a reporter narrates the whole event following a certain pattern or following a chronological order. We just narrate things. For example, if you take the example of newspaper reports, if something happened anywhere in this world, a reporter just narrates the events. But while narrating the events, he takes care of order, and that too logical order. For example, he starts with the where, when, like adverbs when, where, why, how. We start with these adverbs like where it happened, when it happened, how it happened, why it happened. For example, if it is a road accident, we follow certain pattern, we follow certain order, like where it happened, that means the road accident, and the second, what we do, we see when it happened, that means the time of the this accident, and how it happened and why it happened. We give all this information in a chronological order, in a sequence, in a particular sequence. We follow a logical order. And then we have the next one, that's the work report. Work report is a formal document that discusses information about a particular topic related to an aspect of your job. As the word suggests, the report writing, it's a formal document. That means it's meant for the office use, and discuss the information about a particular topic related to an aspect of your job. Here we discuss a certain information that is relevant to any aspect of our job. And the next one is the laboratory report. This gives an account of the procedure, result and significance of an experiment with findings and conclusion. And these kinds of reports, they are called scientific reports because they follow a certain procedure. In fact, we always look for results or the significance of an experiment. If, for example, you are writing about an experiment, a scientific experiment, there We follow all the procedures taken in that scientific experiment. We see the results, we see the significance of that experiment or the findings, and then the conclusion. It outlines, analysis, evaluates observable facts scientifically to form a report. Here, we analyze things. We analyze things, we evaluate things, but only those things which are observable, and we analyze these things scientifically in order to form a report. And then we have the next one, the progress report. A progress report gives detailed information on the progress made in any establishment, the current tasks taken during the past weeks, month, quarter, or year. As the word says, the progress report, it just traces the progress in any company or in any establishment. Here we see the tasks undertaken during the past few years or during the past few months are the covered. Here we just trace the progress in any establishment while taking the past data, or while taking into account past happenings or the past events, so as to create a result oriented report. And next we have the investigative report. At the word says this investigative report, it's a result of any investigation. That's why the heading of any unit, head of any unit or establishment taken may constitute a committee to look into any matter or issue confronting the unit. After the investigation, a report is sent in with detailed information on the matter. This type of report is called an investigative or special report. In investigative report, what we do, head of any institution or company or establishment, he heads a committee. First of all, he forms a committee, then he heads a committee in order to investigate the things, and then prepare a comprehensive report based on that investigation. Now we have the last one, that's the analytical report. As the word says, the analytical report are necessitated by problems in a setup or opportunities that have come up in a business setup. So they persuade readers to accept certain conclusions as being factual and valid. Here, in analytical report, we analyze things, we evaluate things, or we just look at the problem uh, through while going through analysis, while going through the critical evaluation, so as to see the pros and cons of a problem, so as to see how, so as to frame a method by which we can overcome that problem. Now, the next thing is the structure of a report. That means the format of a report. But here I'm talking in a general sense. These formats, they vary from report to report. Now, the first one is the structure of a report is flexible. It depends on types and the form one may be writing. That's why I told you that it varies from report to report. A report, however, has the following structure, but there's certain things that every report almost follows are these. And the first one is the report title. A report title provides a short but clear idea of the subject matter of the report. It must be accurate and concise. Now, the first thing in every report is the title. If you're writing a newspaper report, then we call it a caption. And this caption must be apt and appropriate, to the point, not too lengthy. It should be short. and it should give an idea of whole report. That means it should be relevant, uh, exact, accurate, relevant, so that it can provide the very holistic idea of the report, or so that it can provide an idea of whole report. And the second point is the summary. A report may include a brief summary of the content of the report. It's usually brief and informative. In summary, actually, we put things in a very concise manner so that the reader can get an idea of the whole report. Here we put information uh, in a briefly, or we put information not explicitly. In fact, we give the basic information of a report, and then it's followed by the introduction. The introduction gives a kind of background of the report. It gives the reader some kind of idea as to the reasons for writing any piece of report. And a background should be given so that the reader can understand the significance of the report. In introduction, we give a background of the report, or we give the basic information of the report, or we give the basic idea of the report. And from this introduction, the reader should get an idea of whole report. And in every report, introduction is important. In introduction, we should start introduction with the topic sentence. That means in introduction, we can't take digressions. We should remain to the point, because every other paragraph in a report is the extension of this introduction, or extension or the expansion of this introduction. For example, if you take the second para of any report, second para is nothing but just the extension or expansion of the first para, or that's the introduction. In introduction, we put things briefly so that reader can get an idea of whole report. The next one is the body. The body of any report provides the material which the writer presents to support his point of view. The body is divided into sections, subsections, each one marked with stable headings and subheadings. Now, the body, actually here we give the detailed information regarding any event or situation. In fact, in the body we put everything. We put everything in detail. Or we give, for example, we add graphs, we add tables, we add facts and figures, so as to make our report more authentic. And the body here, uh, we, as I told you, it's an extension of the expansion of the introduction. But here we give information in detail, and this body we divide it into sections, we divide it into subsections, and each section or subsection carry headings and subheadings. That means in body we put information in a very classified manner. We just classify the information with the help of these headings and subheadings. That means everything should be in order. Our report, our body, it should follow a logical order. It should not be random. It should not be haphazard. It should follow an order so that a reader can go easily through the whole report. And the next one is the recommendations. Uh, every report carry this recommendation. Recommendation prefer suggestions on the issue presented in the report. They give insight on what need to be done to solve a problem being investigated. Again, the recommendation ought to reflect the writer's level of reasoning and a sense of judgment. Now, these recommendations, they proffer suggestions on any issue, on any problem. In fact, these recommendations, they give insight on what need to be done. They are, in other words, we can say that they are just like suggestions. And these recommendations, they often reflect the author's level of reasoning or the sense of judgment. And the next one is one more thing, there are certain reports that end with the action taken by the authority, not with the recommendations. For example, as I told you, if you look at, mm, if you're writing a report on accident, road accident, surely that report will end with action taken by the authority. Here, the authority means the police or anything else, okay? And the next one is the conclusion. And conclusion presents the main points arising from the report. This should be given in a conclusive, definite, and brief manner. And here, the conclusion, it provides the very crux or the very gist of whole report. And this conclusion, it should be brief, it should be definite, it should be conclusive, and at the same time very brief. Because in conclusion, we sum up all the things. We just provide the gist of whole report in any conclusion. And this conclusion must be organic. Everything should end with a natural way, not abruptly, not of sudden. It should have, every report should have a natural conclusion, natural ending. And now if there is a longer report includes the following things like title page, acknowledgement, summary, table of contents, introduction, terms of references, support, procedure, findings, conclusion, recommendations, reference, bibliography, and evidence. Now the next one. Title page. If it's a longer piece of writing or longer report, it follows these things. And the first one is the title page. And the title page, it is the first page of a long report. It contains the title, author's name, reporter's reference number, and date. These are the important things. The first thing is the title, that should be clear, apt and appropriate, short, brief, to the point, relevant to the whole report. And the second point is the author's name and report reference number and date. And the second point that follows is the acknowledgement. On this page, the writer expresses his gratitude to those who have contributed and helped him during the course of the work in one way or other. Here, the acknowledgement, we just acknowledge the help of others. We just express gratitude to those persons who have helped us in the whole report. And then we have the summary. As I told you, summary, we put a brief introduction. It's a kind of brief introduction, or here we set out main points of a report so that the reader can get an idea of the whole report. That's why we say this sets out the main points of the report from beginning, middle, and end. The end product of summary is a concise overview of report. To make it short, to make it more expressive, summary is actually a concise overview of a report. Then we have the table of contents. This shows the sections and subsections of a report with page numbers or page of the report where each may be found. Yeah, the content we give we put everything in titles, different titles. We put in sections and subsections, and it carries the page numbers also, that so that the reader can find these page numbers or these sections and subsections easily. Then we have the terms of reference. This section states the goals and the scope of the report. This section here, it makes the clear the goals of report writer, or of a report, or the scope of the report. And the next one is the procedure. Under procedure, the report writer states the methodology used in tracking down the problems, getting the data. The procedure may be in the form of interview, questionnaire, and other forms of gathering factual information. Again, here, the procedure. In procedure, a report writer writes the very methodology which he or she makes use of while writing a report. And here, we give the idea of what of tracking down the problem, getting the data, how a reporter got the data, which methods he or she adopts in order to write that report. And here, for example, different procedure like interviews, for example, whether the reporter has taken some interviews, questionnaires, and like that. And then we have put the findings of a report. Under this section of the report, the writer gives the authentic discoveries made during the course of investigation. All the material collected are interpreted and analyzed. And here, the findings, a reporter, he puts the final discoveries, he put the final end result of an investigation, and all material collected are interpreted and analyzed. That means the findings will give the ultimate crux or the ultimate outcome of that report. Or we just see the very discoveries or the outcomes of a report. And then it's followed by the conclusion. This section gives unbiased judgment of the findings made. Personal opinions are avoided and objective statements are made to prove authenticity of claim and allegation, as the case may be. And the conclusion here, we put everything in a very precise manner, or the conclusion just to give the gist of the whole report, and it should be unbiased. This section gives, that's why we say unbiased judgment of the findings made. Conclusion, it gives the unbiased judgment of the findings made in the proper report. And here, personal opinions are avoided so as to make it more objective, more authentic, and more reliable. And then we have this recommendations. Recommendations demonstrate the writer's sense of judgment. They are actually meant to proceed whatever the discoveries are in the findings. And the recommendation, they are the suggestions which the reader or the audience may follow. And then we have the reference section. The books and the materials considered in the course of the work are arranged correctly in a very alphabetic manner. Usually this adopts, as I told you, alphabetic arrangement. And the reference is in this section, we write the names of all the books or the material we have consulted while writing a report. And then we have, and after references, we have appendix. The raw data used for the reports are also presented in appendix. Some other materials such as blank questionnaires, copies of written texts, maps, charts included in the reference. These are basically meant to show the original forms in which certain piece of information occur. Here we give the different, for example, tests, maps, charts, or we write some original words taken from a certain language. Okay, so as to make it more authentic. It was all about this report writing, and in the here you can read these books for further reading. In the next video, we will take these individual reports. For example, we will take a newspaper report and magazine report, how to write newspaper and magazine reports. Okay, here in this video, I gave the general information about report writing. Hope you have understood it. Uh, we will meet in the next video with another topic. Till then, goodbye.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.